as well as in the region. And it was opened by the foreign minister. The Minister for Information was also there. And after that workshop, they had 2 days with an expert we brought to build their ability and capacity in doing their work. And we feel there's opportunity for us to develop furthermore on that, in ensuring that journalists are well trained, journalists are given the space to do their work, journalists are encouraged to be partners in development, because journalism is not just reporting political issues. They also have a responsibility to see how we can raise the profile of development issues. How do we meet the MDGs? What are the challenges in terms of creating jobs? What are the issues regarding ensuring that journalists they report the state of the health? So these are the issues which the Commonwealth has started, and we believe that under your leadership, sir, that we'll be able to further deepen that engagement. The goal will be to see that we have a professional core of journalists who are doing their work in the Gambia, and they're encouraged and supported by all the stakeholders. That is one issue which we have been told since our coming here. During the previous sessions, we had a lot of discussions with the members of the media. They expressed the problems and challenges and difficulties that they face, and we feel that the opportunity is now there for the government to reach out to them, give them, create that understanding that they can actually be partners in development. And journalism is not just about criticism, it's about being partnering government on issues of democracy, of governance, of development, of societal development as a whole. So we feel that is an area which will also be addressed in our report. And again, for governments, as the Commonwealth, we like to encourage government to have what we call a communications strategy. It is important for government to also get out there and explain themselves, because it is only when you are able to take up issues to give your own side of the story that the world will have a balanced picture of what's being said. And so we believe it's important for the government as well to partner and engage the international community, the local stakeholders, as to what it is doing, why it is doing it, and like you said, Mr. President, if there are areas that needed to be looked at, then the platform is thus created such that it is addressed in a mutually beneficial manner. So we think media is an area where we want to see us working together with the Commonwealth in the years ahead. And the Prof has also mentioned areas of governance, and the last time we came here, when the Deputy Secretary General led a delegation last month, we met the leadership of the National Assembly. The Speaker received us and invited us to observe the Public Accounts Committee meeting, how it is done, which was quite impressive in terms of the interactions, in terms of the oversight responsibility of the Parliament. From our recent examples and experiences in the Gambia, we feel that as we go ahead, the Commonwealth has the expertise which could be tapped into in terms of seeing that the 3 arms of government are assisted and capacitated to do their work. The National Assembly, there is a Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, which does a lot of workshop in building capacity of parliamentarians. Next March, there will be parliamentary elections here. Usually, some will lose seats, new people will come in. And when they come in, it is necessary to give them the capacity to understand what is parliamentary work, because it's not something one learns elsewhere except within the parliament. Now, with the CPA and with the Common Secretariat, we are able to run workshops to build their capacity to understand how legislative work is carried out. The same thing at the moment, we have a Commonwealth judge in the Gambia. We'll be working and collaborating with the judiciary of the Gambia for a long time under our CFTC program. Again, that is one area where we think we can also work to see how we can develop the judiciary. And of course, the other arm of government, the executive. I'm always speaking with the foreign minister here. He's always calling me on issues that we want to see in terms of improving the overall development environment in the Gambia. So those are the two areas I wanted to just mention, sir. Thank you, Mr. President.
First of all, I want to thank you for coming, and through you I want to thank the Commonwealth Secretary General and the entire Commonwealth for coming to observe elections in this country. This is a very important aspect as far as I am concerned, because contrary to what some people believe, a president is just a title, because one day we will appear, even if you are a king, we will be judged by a super king that nobody can question, and that is the hereafter, where life is longer than here, and I'm very careful of that. I want to make sure that whatever I do is endorsed. I do it on behalf of the Gambian people. And how would you know that you have the mandate of the Gambian people? By asking them, and that is, elections are very important. This election was entirely financed by government. To my surprise, the IEC, when they came with a huge budget, I told them, look, we all know that there are economic crises, and maybe knock at the doors of some people that have always tried to give you something, so that, because for the government to really finance all this, with all this gloomy financial situation, it's a big risk. He went around and came back and said, well, we have nothing. So what do we do? I told him, well, even if you have to eat grass, there would be elections. We will do our best. So since you know that it's not possible from elsewhere, we will do our best, but don't expect that we can give you everything that you need. But we will do our best for you to make sure that the elections are conducted. We facilitate everything that is possible to make sure that you are not constrained to a point where you cannot conduct elections. I want to make sure that the election is free and fair and foolproof. Now, coming to the system of elections that we use, I was told that it used to be used in India before. India is one of these Asian countries. But this is a system where there is no way that you can cheat. Well, this system started from, I think, from independence. But the question would be, what is different? Before, there was nothing like an independent electoral commission. The permanent secretary minister of local government was the returning officer for 30 years of our independence. When we came, we said no. And to show you that I always want to make sure that I have the approval of the Gambian people. I am here thanks to Almighty Allah because of the Gambian people. Now, when we came as soldiers, remember, we came as soldiers, we had a 4-year timetable. So just set up a foundation, get rid of corruption, set up a foundation that whoever comes after us will not deviate from that, but build a country on a solid footing where we have to eradicate tribalism. But we had to go back to the people to ask whether they want 4 years. And because of the international condemnation of coups in Africa, they say, oh, in as much as we love you and trust you, we think 4 years is too risky. They reduced it to 2 years. I remember I have been having running battles with the Commonwealth. In 1994, people didn't see the essence of not allowing people to form political parties based on religion. But today, with the problems that we are facing, I think we have been vindicated. This was, then we had the referendum, the constitution, and whatever. But when we came, we said, no, the government cannot be the referee in their own elections. We must have an independent electoral commission. But we started with the provisional independent electoral commission, which since then started working with the Commonwealth. So we made sure that we don't even interfere with what they do. Even their resources, they don't tell us. Until when I went to register And he started telling me that, because when he told me that they